Hello and welcome to another episode of Doing It with David. I found an old cookbook that I used about 30 years ago. In it I found an old bread recipe that I just loved to make when I was in college. I pulled together the ingredients, so it's really a simple recipe. We have 1.25 cups of water, 1/4 cup of butter, 3/4 cup of oatmeal, 1/4 cup of molasses, 3 cups of flour, a tablespoon of yeast, 1 egg, a teaspoon of salt. And so to begin with, we are going to take 1¼ cups of water and put it in a saucepan on the stove and bring it to a boil. The water is boiling, so we remove it from the stove. Now we take 1/4 cup of butter, and then we just stir that until it's fully dissolved. Then we take our 3/4 cup of oatmeal. We dump that in and stir. Then we take our 1/4 cup of blackstrap molasses, pour that in. Then we take our 1 beaten egg, pour that in. Stir that around, mix that. Now we're just going to let it sit for about 20 minutes. So we don't want to add the yeast until the water has cooled down, and we also want to give the oatmeal some time to absorb all of that water. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. Empty the container, pot into my mixing bowl. Then I am going to add my tablespoon of yeast. Turn that on and let the yeast get dissolved into that mixture for a few minutes. Then we will wait about 5 minutes, make sure to give the yeast a chance to activate and start to bubble, and then we'll add the salt and the flour. We have some bubbles forming here in my mixing bowl, and so we're going to slowly add flour to the mixture. About a cup or so at a time, so we'll just add a little more. We'll add our salt in. Then we're going to let that just mix and knead for about 5 minutes. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, so we're going to turn off the mixer. We have a nice, stiff ball of dough here. So I am just going to put that there. I'm going to just grab some pan cooking spray, spray my mixing bowl like that, and then we're going to turn the loaf, the bread dough into that, and I'll cover that and let that rest for a few minutes before we roll it out. Okay, we've let the dough rest and double in size for about 45 minutes. I covered it with a cloth, so I will be taking it out here. And oh yes, it feels so light. Oh, and the smell of that molasses in there is just great. So now we'll place it on our lightly floured mat here. And then we're going to roll it out to a rectangular shape of approximately 9 by 17 inches. So we have the oven preheating at 375, and then I'm just going to roll the dough here up pinch together the ends and tuck them in a little bit. Just a little bit. That looks like that should fit nicely. So then we have our greased pan here. We'll just gently place our dough in there. I'll just take some of my spray oil and spray over the top. Then we're just going to let it raise in the pan till it basically doubles in size again, and then we'll pop it into the oven to bake. Well, it's been about a half hour since we put the bread into the bread pan, so let's take a peek and see how it's doing. It's looking great. Yes, look at that. So it's raised nicely. It has a nice dome on it. So I think it's time for us to put it in the oven. So we'll place that in that, and we'll cook it for around 35 minutes and check on it and see. Well, it's been about 40 minutes with the bread in the oven, and it smells fabulous. So it's time for us to bring it out and see how it turned out. It looks pretty good. It did split a little, which doesn't totally surprise me. I saw some of those weak lines when I was putting it there in the pan, and I thought that might happen. But that's okay. It doesn't affect how the bread tastes. Great sound. You want that nice kind of hollow sound when you thump on the bread, and it feels like it has a nice good crust on it. So it is hard for me to wait to slice into bread to get I love a nice hot slice of bread. So we're going to put it in the slicer here and take the heel off. There we go, look at that. Wonderful texture, great bubbles. Oh, great smell. And you can see the rest of the loaf. It looks just perfect. Now it's hot. Take some honey butter that I whipped up. Spread that on it. Just delicious. Just oat, good rich oat flavor with the sweet molasses in there. Tastes just heavenly. Now, honey butter is just perfect. Give this a try. Bread is a wonderful thing. You can try all different things with it. You know, there's thousands of different types of bread. So this is just a basic one. You know, switch it up a little bit. Life is a journey. Enjoy the journey. I've enjoyed the journey today making this wonderful loaf of bread. Hopefully you have too. And when you make your own bread, try to teach somebody else how to do it as well. We can all learn from each other. So thanks for watching. So long. See you next time on Doing It with David.